Hey guys, Adam Lane Smith, the attachment specialist here. Welcome back to I Wish You Knew. Today I have a very specific requested episode that you've asked me for over and over again, so I'm obliging. Many of you, when we do these episodes about how to care for an avoidant man over on my YouTube channel or here on this channel, what it's like to be an avoidant man, you ask a lot of very specific questions. And one that you ask, and it hits over and over and over again, why should I be catering to an avoidant man? Shouldn't he be doing his own work? Shouldn't he be doing the work to stop being avoidant? A lot of you guys are avoidant or avoidant women out there as well and say, Adam, enough about how to handle these issues. What am I supposed to be doing to actually overcome avoidant attachment for the rest of my life? You've seen me coach people here on this channel. You've seen me coach Kimmy, Andre, many other avoidant individuals, men and women. Today, I want to answer your question very directly. This is the exact step-by-step process for fixing avoidant attachment style. Now, I say fixing as if it's a diagnosis, and we know it's not. It's a survival style. I'm going to go into the biochemistry today and show exactly how you overcome them step by step. There are some specific brain formations that you can't fix right off the bat. Your brain does build to a certain point, but there is also neuroplasticity where you can overcome it over time or compensate by enhancing other features. We're going to talk about that brain chemistry component as well and exactly how you can overcome those challenges if your brain has been formed into an avoidant pattern. This is not a video to sit here and demonize avoidant people, number one. I am not going to be sitting here and whipping people for the comments that are there and saying, hey, Adam, you need to be meaner to these avoidant people. Absolutely not. Disclaimer here. Also, this is not about manipulative, avoidantly attached people. Most of them are not going to be watching this channel. This is why I don't address how to handle them, to be honest with you, because the massively manipulative level of avoidant attachment style, they're not here. They don't want to learn. They're off somewhere else, making someone's life awful. Okay? It's just like the toxic anxious variant. They're off somewhere else making people miserable. They're not here learning about how to do better and how to grow in their relationship. So for every avoidant out there, I'm going to assume you are ethically avoidant, that you follow your ethics and your values, but you don't understand how relationships are supposed to be structured, and you don't understand what you've always been missing. You've been lonely for most of your life. You are running constantly on cortisol and adrenaline, and those things are now spitting out dust, and you're just crawling through life with caffeine and anything else you can get your hands on just to scrape through one more day at work. Work is going great. Romantic life is not going so great. You don't know what to do there. That's why you're watching this show. For everybody else who's watching, maybe you love an avoidant partner, man, woman, whatever it might be, and you're frustrated, you're tired, you're also lonely, but you truly love them and don't want to lose them. Again, today, this information is for the ethically avoidant people and their partners. This is not for manipulative partners. If you have a manipulative partner, we've done talks on exactly how to handle that. Make sure that you are building strong barriers and boundaries and taking care of yourself. But if you're continuing to watch, you want to fix ethically avoidant attachment. Have we done enough disclaimers there? All right, cool. Let's jump right in. Okay, very brief overview here today. I want to go over just a little bit for anyone who's new. A lot of you are. We've picked up so many new followers lately, and thank you to all of you. I love you guys out there, and you people in the comments, you make my day reading through those, so thank you. Avoidantly attached people, they grow up in families that flood them with stress and cortisol. Now, these families are usually stressful, chaotic, emotionally distant. Sometimes they're fighting and screaming. Other times they're just cold and withdrawn. Think of boarding school families where you don't ever hug or make eye contact. Also families where everyone's yelling and screaming at each other. I'm thinking of plenty of New York and New Jersey families who are on reality TV shows, right? The enmeshment can also create tremendous avoidance style. Interesting component here. Your brain can break in two different ways if it doesn't get secure connection as a kid. If you can't get your needs met, you're overrun. Two different ways. One, anxiously attached people we're not talking about today. We've talked about extensively before. You blame yourself. You think you're not good enough. You're afraid that you're the reason everyone's mad at you all the time, and you feel like you always have to make it up for other people. You're constantly seeking approval, and you're trying to make people happy. We're not talking about that today. Those people usually, though, fall in love with avoidantly attached people. Totally fine. We've done extensive work on that. If you need help with that, write in as a comment. Let us know. I've got stuff over on my personal YouTube. We've done videos here about that. The other way your brain can break, though, as a survival adaptation, is to say, there is something wrong with everyone around me. They are not trustworthy. They're too stressed out. There's something off about them. They don't handle issues right. They have no skills. Whatever it is, I'm scared to death of being vulnerable to these people because they'll take a bite at me. They'll make fun of me. They'll use it against me. They'll hurt me. They should never get close to me. I should never let them ever get close, ever. I will never allow anyone to get that close ever again because I don't want to get hurt or scared like this again. Now, that child, that brain at 6 months old, a year old, 2 years old, retreats fully, okay? Retreats from other people. This does a couple of things. It inhibits the growth, number one, of the specific areas of your brain related to connecting to other humans. The portions of your brain that are supposed to relate to other humans and say, hey, I'm having a problem. I should ask somebody about it. That part gets flipped off. You are now focused on self-fixing. Everything is me. Don't even consider the idea that someone could ever help me. I was working with a gentleman for a long time on his attachment style, and every time he would hit a bump in the road, he would never, ever remember to tell his wife that there was an issue. He'd come to me after weeks of agonizing and say, what do I do? And I'd say, well, you forgot that you can tell your wife about it, and that'll probably fix it in about 30 seconds. He agonized for weeks over it. It took so long to retrain his brain. We had to set reminders. We had to build structures in. We had to do so much to help him even be aware that he could ask for help from his partner. And she was a wonderful, supportive partner. Imagine a partner who's not that supportive and you're trying to retrain your brain to connect with them. Okay, it dampens this part of the brain. Now, it overdevelops what's called the prefrontal cortex. When you're a child, your brain is developing. Prefrontal cortex starts when you're born up till 25 years of age. Prefrontal cortex is your judgment center, your logic center, how you make rational, calm decisions when you're not stressed out. The prefrontal cortex for an avoidantly attached person overdevelops and it inhibits emotional expression. It actually numbs the person from being able to feel or express their own emotions. It actually turns their emotions down permanently and suppresses them. Now imagine if you had a big, gigantic cinder block sitting on top of your ability to emotionally express, and every time you tried to have a feeling or express a feeling, you had to move that heavy cinder block every time and push through just to try to get a feeling out. This is why when a partner says, hey, how you feeling? Tell me what you're feeling. Talk to me about your feelings. The avoidant person reaches and there's nothing there. And then when they try and push through, you see the agony on their face as they're trying to share an emotion. It's because they're forcefully overcoming their inhibited prefrontal cortex. Okay. Now, can this be fixed? Over time, neuroplasticity, you can do some restructuring of this. There's other things, though, that can enhance it and make it so much easier to share this connection and make it more rewarding and fulfilling. Another factor in the brain you need to be aware of is your receptors for the bonding hormone oxytocin. In childhood, because the person retreats away from others and they go into what's called the sympathetic nervous system, the stress mode, endless stress, endless cortisol, because they go into that to stay alert and alive forever and never let anyone get the jump on them, their oxytocin receptors, the love hormone, the intimacy hormone, what we social mammals bond with and connect with best, they lock tight. Those receptors close so they cannot receive oxytocin anymore, and they shut down. And now what that does is suppress the inhibitory neurotransmitter GABA, which releases with oxytocin. GABA is supposed to release, but now it doesn't. Now, what does GABA do? A couple things. First thing it does is help synthesize melatonin to sleep at night. Anybody out there, leave a comment below. Let me know if this is you with insomnia issues through the course of your life. Trouble falling asleep, trouble staying asleep, waking up too early, not getting deep sleep, not getting REM sleep. You're always exhausted and you don't know what it is. I had one client come in diagnosed with circadian rhythm issues since childhood. Turns out exceedingly avoidantly attached. As we started working on their avoidant attachment and repairing it, all of a sudden their lifelong circadian rhythm that they were told they were just doomed, it's just a genetic mutation, sorry. Nope, it actually started fixing and healing. And they started sleeping deeper at night. They started dreaming more and good dreams as time went on. And they started really waking up fully refreshed. All of a sudden, their circadian rhythm was improved. It's actually been more than one client having that. Vast majority of my avoidantly attached clients, insomnia issues. This is why. Low oxytocin, low GABA, almost no melatonin. Most of them begrudgingly use melatonin at night, and it leaves them feeling groggy the next morning. Again, anybody out there? Anybody like that? Anybody reliant on a sleep stack to be able to rest at night, otherwise you can't sleep? Avoidantly attached guys have that issue too. The second thing that this does is when you don't have oxytocin, you don't have GABA, you can't regulate your cortisol level, so it's now completely unregulated. Avoidantly attached men have to emotionally dissociate from their own feelings. That's why the prefrontal cortex shuts down and inhibits, because that shuts down their feelings that fast so they can dissociate from the unregulated cortisol and adrenaline running through their system at all times. They are designed to be on a hair trigger. They make fun of other people for being emotionally dysregulated and always stressed out, but they themselves biochemically are more stressed out than just about anybody else on the planet, because their nervous system can't shut it down. So instead of being able to calmly suppress it in a healthy way through chemicals, they dissociate from it and pretend it's not happening and turn off that part of their brain, and it forces a shutdown. This is most avoidantly attached men. So they ride the cortisol waves all day. They slam more cortisol in their system with energy drinks, right? Tons of energy drinks makes their hair fall out and their teeth start to rot. And then what happens? They burn out. Massive burnout. Their adrenals no longer function. They just spit out dust. The caffeine overload, they're hitting 800 milligrams a day and it's just barely making a dent. That's just basic functioning at that point. They're crawling through their days. They're burned out. They're making constant mistakes and having to work twice as hard to fix them. This is a lot of avoidant men, and this is why they work 16, 18 hours a day, because they have to keep fixing problems because they are so chemically burned out. So I need you to be aware that the biochemistry here is very, very real. This is not something avoidant men can just get over. So anybody out there who leaves comments that says these guys just need to grow up, they're just being pathetic, they're being selfish, they're narcissists. No, this is a hardcore survival state. Well, what is this supposed to help you with? It's supposed to help you from our hunter-gatherer ancestors. If your family was either completely dysregulated or destroyed and you were around hostile people you couldn't trust, you have to go into a hardcore survival mode. That means no one can watch over you while you sleep, so insomnia is helpful. Everyone can turn on you at a moment's notice, or something can come attack you. High levels of unregulated cortisol and adrenaline to jump at the drop of a hat. Right? Bonding is going to be bad because it's going to make you do foolish things, turn off oxytocin receptors. You know what it does do, though, is it turns your oxytocin receptors to bond with vasopressin instead. Avoidantly attached men are over-primed to bond through vasopressin, the hormone released when we solve problems together. It's great, but it reminds me a little bit of this joke. Do you guys remember the old meme about Chuck Norris and how everything he was so cool? There was one old joke that said Chuck Norris's tears can cure cancer. Too bad he never cries. The same applies here with avoidant men. Avoidant men are hyper-primed to bond through vasopressin and achieving things with other people. Too bad they never achieve things with other people, ever. Remember at the very beginning of this, I told you about the man who can't, for the life of himself, bring himself to ask his wife for help. It doesn't even occur to him. When he does, when I push him into it, or when she pushes through and demands that he open up, all of a sudden he starts working with her and he is primed and it hits his system like a wildfire on a dry prairie, and he floods with vasopressin bonding. And they experience this gigantic rush of intimacy and bonding and desire afterward because he's so hyper bonded to her through the vasopressin. But avoidant men don't remember to do this. So they are primed to do something they will almost never, ever do. The key to trusting with avoidantly attached men, and I'm going to get into the fix here in a bit, but the key to fixing it largely is vasopressin bonding. You have to vasopressin bond first. Most women try to bond with avoidant men through oxytocin, through sex, more sex, massages, cooking for him, even more sex, getting another girl involved, more lingerie, dopamine and oxytocin, and he is primed to just burn through dopamine and not even associate it with you, by the way. So it's just fun that just burns out. His brain will log you as a particularly delicious hamburger that he ate, and he'll remember to come here when he's hungry, but that doesn't bond you. And his oxytocin receptors are closed. So a lot of women out there are trying the opposite wrong way to bond with an avoidant man. And most men are out there trying to white knuckle it. They're stressed out. This is what they do. This is what most of my avoidant men do, okay? They don't even sit back in their chair. They sit forward like this in their chair. They come home from work, and they sit down. Their wife is like her girlfriend's trying to hug them and say, good, good afternoon, good evening. It's good to see you. I'm so happy. And she gives you a big hug, and he's like, yeah, it's great to be here. And he's like stressed out. He's drunk like 8 cups of coffee that day. He's on 800 milligrams of caffeine. His adrenals are spitting out dust. He's exhausted. He hasn't slept in, well, let's say probably about 35 years. He hasn't slept very well. And he's stressed out. She's trying to hug him, and his oxytocin receptors are blocked. Now, when this happens, avoidant men actually experience physical abrasive sensation when someone tries to be physically intimate with them. It feels like a threat. Right? If you're fighting for your life, you don't want someone to come up and hug you. Your arms are restricted. Okay? Did you know one of the worst things you can do, for example, to a dog is give them a big hug, because it scares them because they feel trapped and they shake, and people assume that's shaking with happiness. It's shaking with fear. Avoidantly attached men, similar process. You run around and you grab them with your arms and squeeze them, and all he can think is, if I got attacked right now, I can't defend us. So his body forcibly rejects you. If you've ever had an avoidant man push you back, grab you and push you back after you hug him, that's why. So he comes home. She tries to hug him. He pushes her back. Then he sits down and he's grinding his teeth, like thinking about everything at work that he messed up and didn't fix, or all the projects that aren't done yet, all the risks, all the threats. And she's trying to talk to him about her day. And he's like, yeah, sure. What happened? Okay, great. Fantastic. And then she's like, well, okay, well, what do you want to do this tonight? And he's thinking like all the projects he has to do. And he's like, I can't do those. I have to take care of you. I have to take care of your feelings, or you will leave me or cheat on me. So I have to nurture you tonight instead of doing these projects. So then his brain goes into problem solving mode. Whatever you want, babe. Just tell me what you want. What do you want to do tonight? And she's like, well, she's thinking, he doesn't want to spend time with me. Why is he pushing me off? Why is he rejecting me? And he's sitting there going like, I got to take care of you. Then I got to do this. He's like rocking inside like this. Again, they don't sit back and relax necessarily, or they will if they've had alcohol. Usually they're sitting forward like this, like grinding their teeth because their body can't even relax. Avoidant men have a tremendous amount of tension, usually, and stress through their shoulder and their neck. It's usually a very common thing. They have muscle knots. You'll see them do this a lot. They have pain, they have headaches, they have ocular migraines from the muscles clamping down. Again, when you are massively oxytocin deficient and low on GABA, you actually misuse your magnesium. You'll burn it at a much higher rate to burn through all the thinking. So you'll have brain fog. Number one, a lot of avoidant men have to take a high level dose of magnesium just to barely function. But then that magnesium doesn't allow their muscles to relax. So they're stiff all the time. Their eyelids are even tense. If you look at an avoidant man, his eyelids are stiff. All the avoidant men right now are pausing to go look in a mirror, but their eyelids are tense, and that's why they have so many ocular migraines. But this is the process of being with an avoidant man, and this is the process of experiencing life as one. They can't relax, so then they try to bond through oxytocin and dopamine, and it doesn't work. Connecting together is the only key. So we've danced around how to fix avoidant attachment quite a bit here on this show, right? We've often said things like, just be in a secure relationship. You'll experience it over time. Yes, except when an avoidantly attached man gets with a securely attached friend, partner, anybody, he's highly suspicious. This is too good to be true. What are you really doing on the backside? It's when you see an amazing religious figure, and the first thing that pops up in your mind is all the scandals you've seen with celebrities, and you go, I wonder what horrible things this amazing religious figure is secretly into. They're too good to be true. That's an avoidant man when they see a securely attached relationship. I wonder what the horrible, evil, dark side is that's going to come along and wreck this for us. Well, I guess I'll barely enjoy it in the meantime, and I'll stay ready for when it crashes. So it's hard for an avoidant man to lean into a securely attached relationship unless he knows what's happening. Now, for the people who want a securely attached relationship and to relax into it, I want to make this really clear. I just released my How to Build a Secure Marriage video course. It's an entire process for building the ultimate, perfect, secure, relaxed, bonding, and trusting marriage, or long-term relationship if you prefer. I like marriage better, to be honest. If you want to build that and experience it and begin fixing attachment issues, any attachment issues from the system, and be fixed by it and fix yourself in it, pick up a copy of that course today. It will show you the mechanisms, conversations to have, the roles you need to fulfill, all the expectations, and exactly how to troubleshoot some of the biggest problems that avoidant attachment style and anxious style will bring to the relationship. So pick up your copy of that course today. I'm going to link it below in the description or in the show notes for however you're listening to this. But I want to make this very clear. Avoidantly attached people need to be fully engaged in the process of repairing their own attachment. I don't even like fixing necessarily, because you're not broken. You are functioning perfectly for an environment you don't live in. You don't live like Tarzan in the jungles in Congo, fighting with a sharp stick against leopards coming to eat you. Okay? That's what avoidant attachment style is built for. You would thrive in that environment. Most avoidantly attached people are waiting for the zombie apocalypse because that's what they're built for. They're waiting for the collapse of society. They're waiting for America to collapse the way USSR collapsed and then go into hardcore survival fight for my food mode. That's what your brain is built for. So if anything ever goes down, first thing I'm going to do is find an avoidant man and say, okay, you're my buddy for life. Tell me what to do. Let's survive this together, because that's what they're designed for. But we don't live in that situation right now. Instead, you're coming home to a loving partner who wants to snuggle with you, hold your hand, talk about your day. Maybe you're a father and you've got kids. Some of my avoidant male clients have daughters, and they have no idea how to connect with them. They know how to throw money at them. They know how to buy them gifts. They know how to pat them on the head. They know how to listen to them and listen to them chatter. And that's about it. They're very stiff and they try to give love, but they don't even know what being loved feels like. So be loving turns into sacrificing for them, sending them to good schools, giving them toys and gifts, giving them tablets, looking at them occasionally, buying them pretty clothes. And it's a very distant, isolated relationship that fosters a daughter who grows up saying, why was I never worthy of my father's time or attention? And those daughters go on TikTok, Instagram, everywhere else. No offense to anyone who uses those, but I mean, those daughters are learning, I'm not worthy of his time or attention. What do I have to do to get a man to look at me? And unfortunately, on the internet, the answer is very specific about what a woman needs to do to get a man to look at her, unfortunately, okay? So avoidant men, if you have daughters, I want to make sure that you are not falling into that trap, because your brain is going to lead you there and lead her there, unfortunately. Not to scare you, but this is the reality of where we're in now. So we need to fix this approach. We need avoidant men to be able to feel intimacy and closeness with their family. We need them to be able to get the bonding hormones and the nurturing and even the sleep that they need. We need them to be aware of what a healthy relationship looks like so that they have something to aim for. When you're skiing, if all you do is stare at the trees to try to avoid them, you will hit the trees. You need to actually look at the path and aim for the path between the trees so that you can ski in the correct path. Avoidant men, if they're just staring at trees, they're going to hit one tree after another for the rest of their life, and their kids will too. I need to show you the path. And finally, you need to have actual experiences. There is no podcast, book, even coaching session on the planet that will do anything for you if you never take action. The worst male avoidant clients I've ever had are the ones that think they can just read books, listen to podcasts, show up to my coaching sessions, speak to me, and never speak to anybody else. Ever. Never speak to their friends or family. Never talk to anybody. Never have experiences. They want to solo fix inside their own mind. They want to mindset shift so that they simply don't need emotions or feelings ever again. And that doesn't work. They're looking for more methods to dissociate or more methods to compensate. Those are not the things we want. We want you to have real human experiences with the proper people in the right way and in the right order that begins changing your brain chemistry, altering your brain pathways and formations, and then ultimately giving you the joy and fulfillment and connection you've always wanted. And then really building forward into a life and legacy that you actually want. A lot of avoidant men don't come in and do this work until they've either lost a woman that they really loved and they only realized too late that they weren't loving her the way that she needed, or number two, they come in after a horrific divorce and their children are suffering and they don't want it to happen again. Sometimes optional third, midlife crisis. My life is meaningless. I'm alone. I hate everything. I've got $10 million in the bank right now and 5 mansions, and there's no point in living one more day. What do I do? Okay, those are the 3 points where avoidant men usually come into me right there, I should say. All of those are 100% fixable, but learning will only carry you so far. Experience will carry the day, okay? Let's talk about how you start fixing this biochemically. Then we'll talk about how you fix it with the brain. Then we'll talk about how you fix it with experiences. 1, 2, 3. Make sense? For everybody who's watching this, I know most of you are women who love an avoidant man. Watch this a couple times. Take notes. And then consider showing this to him or having some conversations with him about things you'd like to offer him and experiences you'd like to have with him. This is not to trick him into it. It's just that a lot of avoidant men are used to being labeled narcissist. You're a narcissist. You're a monster. You're an unfeeling monster, right? There's a famous movie called Sabrina. They've actually remade. And in it, the lead actor, played by Harrison Ford in one of the good remakes that I really enjoyed, he's an avoidantly attached man, top of his game, head of his family company, and he's CEO. And somebody jokingly refers to him as the world's only living heart donor. That's an avoidantly attached man at the top of his game. Okay. He's not cruel, nasty, horrible. He actually loves his family and cares for them, but he shows them that love by protecting them from themselves and their own choices quite often, and then throwing a lot of money at them and giving them power and prestige. That's how he protects his family. The world's only living heart donor. That's what most people call avoidant men. And this is why avoidant men don't usually want to watch an episode about how to fix an avoidant man, because he goes, screw you. Don't label me, and I don't need to be fixed. You're the one with the problem. You're crying all the time. I'm thriving. I just made $5 million last year. What do you mean? Right? So he may or may not watch this episode, and if he does, fantastic, but share some of these ideas with him, because the ideas are universal and the ideas are good and sound. It's not a trick. It's actually improving his life. All right. How do you fix this with hormones? Well, number one, for an avoidantly attached man to properly begin shifting his patterns, what he actually needs to do is experience vasopressin bonding first. This can take the form of working together with a business partner to craft a business, working with a person to overcome physical or medical issues, or working with a partner to overcome attachment challenges and actually grow in intimacy. One of the biggest changes most of my male clients achieve is when they start connecting to their partner more and having different conversations. They start going through conflict instead of avoiding conflict because it feels impossible. They lean into the conflict. They have it in a high level way, which is solution focused, non-blaming, listening more. They practice active listening. They reflect back. They practice a lot of understanding, and then they share personal context. Again, most avoidant men and women, unfortunately, your prefrontal cortex, it inhibits that emotional expression. So having a personal conversation feels impossible to them. Most of them will intellectualize about their own emotions. Yes, I recall once I felt a hint of loneliness as the fog rolled in across the moors. That's what they will think about and talk about when they have an emotional experience. They need to be able to say, this is a problem I'm facing in my life right now. I feel very lonely and disconnected from other people. I really don't know if there's a way to overcome that. It frustrates me quite a bit, and it makes me, frankly, concerned that I'm never going to have that. It leaves me feeling very unfulfilled, and I guess I would experience it as maybe even sadness. It's hard for them to say that. Did you see that moment I had right there? I was trying to embody most of my clients. I guess I would experience it as a moment of sadness, not, it makes me sad. It's very hard for them to say it. They have to go the roundabout way and intellectualize it. I suppose I would describe it as a moment of sadness, right? But even that is at least getting closer to the personal expression of the emotion. I'm having a moment of sadness, even if they can't say, I feel sad right now. Yeah, it feels too juvenile for them, too infantile, really. But if they can get to a place where they can start telling their partner, look, I really feel disconnected. The only thing that feels connective to me in any way, shape, or form is dopamine. And that's when you and I are doing something really hot and heavy, and that's even starting to burn out a little bit. I want to feel close with you. I really don't know how to do that. It's hard for me to relax enough to be able to. And then when we're in the moment, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get there. I want that, but I don't think I ever will have it. I had one amazing client. He had a breakthrough, and he told his wife, he blurted out in the moment in a heated moment during our sessions, he just blurted out, I just want to share a moment with you. And she tried to say something, and I said, pause, hold on, wait. This is perfect. This is what we need. What does sharing a moment look like? And he went, and it caused him physical pain to try to think about it. And he had to go like this and think. And then he had just very haltingly try to use pieces of emotional words that she had used during our sessions. And he started using an emotional language to describe looking into your eyes, physically holding each other, no arguments, just being together and enjoying closeness with each other, and just maybe even talking about how we felt in that moment, and just really being close, enjoying each other, not even sex, just holding. and relaxing and letting go. And she and I just both stared at him with our mouths open because he was describing what she had actually been describing for every single session since the beginning that she wanted from him. And it had never clicked for him that they wanted the same thing. He was desperate for this. When he said it, he said, "This is what I've always wanted. I feel so empty without this. I don't think this is possible. I don't think it's something you and I can even share. So I've never asked for it. I didn't even realize I fully wanted it until this moment when I'm really telling you right now." And we were like, "This is everything." He was like, "What do you mean? Like, we can do this?" And she said, "We have to do this. This is everything I've ever wanted. If we do that, I will be happy." And he said, "Are you sure? I don't think that's what you want." She was like, "Yes, it is." So I gave them homework that whenever he is feeling that, he needs to go to her and say, "Hey, can we share a moment?" It's so hard for avoidant men to say, "Can you give me a hug? I just want to be close to you. Can we just snuggle?" Right? It's hard for them to say that. Almost impossible. They'll break their own finger instead. They'll say, because it makes them angry to even think about saying that, right? "I don't want to lose respect. I'll be in danger. You'll leave me. You'll hate me. Can we share a moment?" So he would go to her and say, "Can we share a moment?" And she'd say, "Yeah." And she'd like drop everything and just like grab him in her arms, and he'd grab her, and then he could close his eyes, take a deep breath, stimulate the vagus nerve for a state shift. Okay. Your vagus nerve, as it stimulates in your chest, it actually leads into parasympathetic, pulls you out of sympathetic, that mode that those avoidant men are in all the time, pulls you out of sympathetic, puts you into parasympathetic, calm, rest, and digest mode. Now, avoidant men have to do some work biochemically to bring themselves down. Sometimes it's supplement stacks, L-theanine, magnesium, taurine, glycine. All of these things can be very helpful to bring you out and keep you in a calm, regulated state, especially in the evening. But if he can get to a calmer place where he can say, "Can we share a moment?" This is where his oxytocin receptors begin opening up, begrudgingly at first and just a little bit, but they open up. You share a moment and she grabs him and he relaxes, he breathes. And this is where in your rest and digest parasympathetic, you begin to release and generate serotonin in your gut. He will feel content. He will feel at peace and rested. He will feel oxytocin bonded to her and connected to her. He will feel relaxed and he will feel a sense of belonging. He will feel a sense of closeness. Loneliness dissipates at this point with belonging and closeness. It eases it out, pushes it out. It's the opposite. And she will feel this relaxation at the same time. This oxytocin flood is what women are looking for with closeness that avoidant men don't know how to give them. Okay, so you start fixing that biochemistry and you get there. Now, I'm saying that because that's the second piece. You can't get there right away. Avoidant men aren't going to listen to this episode and go to their wife and say, "Let's share a moment," and then be able to relax into that mode. First, he has to be working on attachment issues with her. That man who had that huge breakthrough and said, "I just want to share moments with you," that had been after months of us working together, vasopressin bonding him with his wife, resolving issues, resolving disputes between them that had been there for years, resolving issues where they were struggling to ever understand each other. As they built understanding, as they resolved conflicts, as they built true connection, as she showed him how to overcome those concerns and fears he'd experienced, he vasopressin bonded with her, and his brain began to fully trust her as a true ally and companion. Because of that stack of vasopressin, when he reached a heated moment, his brain remembered that she's someone worthy of trust. So he blurted out something emotionally sensitive to someone he trusted. That led to the oxytocin bonding, which they then, as a secondary piece, began to oxytocin bond. This started fulfilling both of them. Now, the vasopressin was great for her, but it wasn't fulfilling her. It made her feel safe and loved, but it did not safe and trusted, but it did not make her feel loved or cherished or adored yet. The oxytocin was loved, cherished, and adored, and it was a huge payoff for her. But that was ultimately what he was craving. He was afraid he was going to have to go out and have this intimacy with somebody else just to get the dopamine hit. And he was telling her, like, "I don't want to do that ever, but it's feeling like I'll never be happy ever again in monogamy." This is where he found true fulfillment, depth, and connection. It was this amazing transformative moment for them. And I was so proud of them. I still am to this day. I'm feeling it right now. It was this huge transformation that they finally achieved real love and intimacy for both of them. Now, it didn't make everything perfect, but it bonded them. So there's the biochemistry. Vasopressin leading into trust, leading into oxytocin and bonding and connection. Avoidant men will begin learning a more emotional language as they ease in and have closeness with other people. So brain-wise, how do you begin fixing some of this? Well, number one is retraining Broca's area, the area responsible for speech, is training him into emotional speech. Avoidant men have avoided learning emotional language most of their life. They call it therapy talk or feelings talk usually, and they call it contemptuously that because it's people with high levels of therapy that bring their emotions and say, I demand that you take care of me, is usually what it is. So they don't like that. Obviously, no one does. As you begin to learn the emotional language, that's helpful. It's helpful if your partner learns the logical business language so they can speak to you and you can begin crafting solutions together. So Broca's area with the language speech area has to really grow for new abilities to express and articulate emotional matters and also to understand emotional things being said to you. Most avoidantly attached men don't understand what it feels like to feel loved, safe, calm, connected, close. They don't understand that feeling. They get dopamine and that's about it, like a sugar rush. They don't feel the intimacy of closeness. So when you tell them, I want to feel loved, it feels like a moving goalpost to them. They don't know what that means. You have to help them understand that as well. So number one, Broca's area speech. Number two is overcoming that inhibitory component from the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex, as it inhibits their emotional expression, this has to be either overrun or reprogrammed over time through neuroplasticity, but what can't fully be reprogrammed, compensated for. The high levels of oxytocin they get will ease that and turn it into less of a threat. The problem is that the amygdala, the fear center of the brain, has tagged emotional closeness and sharing emotional expressions as dangers. That's what floods through into the prefrontal cortex and says, shut down emotional expression because I can't bond, I'm in danger. As we remove that component, the amygdala stops tagging danger and says, this is not a threat to bond to this person. It's not a threat to be close to her. It's not or him, whoever it is. It's not a threat to be close to that person or share my emotions because it helps me. It actually is a pleasurable experience. Okay. We'll talk about the experiences component here in a moment and how you make this happen. But as you retrain the amygdala, it no longer sparks threats that way, so it doesn't go through the prefrontal cortex inhibition area. It doesn't shut down your emotional expression because now it's no longer a threat or danger. So you can begin sharing emotionally in an easier way over time as it's rewarded through biofeedback. The process of biofeedback is enormously important here. What starts off as a teeth-gritting, white-knuckling process where you can barely make it work becomes so easy over time that it's almost hard to stop. And that's ultimately what avoidantly attached men are doing when they avoid that closeness is, number one, they don't want to get hurt. But number two, they don't want to feel how good it can feel and then get trapped in that and then get stuck sharing their emotions in a way that disgusts them and leaves them more vulnerable to people over time. This is why we have to begin with deep level vasopressin bonding and trust building first, because his brain needs to fully 100% trust through stress, through fear, and through everything that's going to stress him out and scare him. Avoidant men don't want to use the word fear. I do because it's real, but to them, it's not true fear. It's risk assessment and rational judgment. I'm going to say this. When your amygdala detects a threat, your prefrontal cortex activates. And if it's too much of a threat, your prefrontal cortex begins to turn off, and it instead ships communications and thoughts over to your limbic center, your limbic system, which is fight or flight, fawn or freeze, usually fight or flight for the avoidant man. It actually begins shutting down your decision-making processes. 5 seconds in the future, maximize pleasure, minimize pain. He thinks he's in a hyper-logical mode. Actually, what he's in is in an almost reptilian survival mode, turning off all sentimentality and making ruthless decisions. Most avoidant men will make their relationship decisions in this mode and then say, once I make a decision, I never go back. But he's made a decision in a reptilian survival mode that is divorced from sentiment, logic, emotion, legacy, everything that actually matters to him long-term. He has crushed his long-term goals for short-term gain and now pridefully says, I will never question my decisions. I never look back, right? That's the death. Avoidant men, I highly recommend you do not make long-term relationship decisions in this mode anymore. Your brain is fooling you, saying that you're hyperlogical, but you're in a reptilian survival state that will ruin your life. These are the decisions avoidant men come to me or their children come to me later and have to explain and work through. These are the decisions that destroy lives, okay? You think you're highly focused in that moment? You are highly focused, but not on the things that will matter long term. You're focused on the things long term that are going to bring you into me saying, I've ruined my life. What do I do next? So just cautionary tale there, okay? Do look at your decisions a second time with a more rational brain. But the goal through vasopressin is to overcome that so the prefrontal cortex doesn't go offline. The amygdala doesn't spark and out of control. You don't shut down oxytocin receptors and go into cold reptilian survival mode. You stay calm and on track, and then you can lean in and do like that man did and say, can I share a moment with you? Now, all of this is great, right? All the avoidant men are home and probably like, how do I just get shots of oxytocin? How do I just get shots of serotonin? How do I get shots of vasopressin so I can do them alone in my room while I'm working on a brief 3-minute break from my 18-hour workday, never speak to anybody or share emotions ever? Can I just ingest these chemicals into my body and feel better? And there's the problem right there. Most avoidant men, number one, either have never connected to somebody that they could actually trust, or they've never met somebody that they actually could trust. So the idea of opening up and trusting someone that way seems like such an insane risk that they're wondering why I'm even telling them this right now. Or number two, it's never occurred to them that they actually could go to anybody else and feel better. Because when they were a child and tried to go to anybody else, and I guarantee you did, I have 5 children, they go to me all the time for challenges. And like a good parent, I respond to them and care for them. Even if I'm exhausted in the moment, I respond to them because I never want them to stop connecting to other human beings. It doesn't make them dependent. It makes them interdependent, as humans are supposed to be. This is the strength of social mammals. Okay, this is why we rose to dominance on this planet, is through our emotional connections, our interdependence, voluntary interdependence, and reciprocity, reciprocal care. Oxytocin and vasopressin allowed us as social mammals to rise on this planet. This is what distinguishes us from the non-social mammals like tigers, who are cold, ruthless, isolated. They have one tiger to a territory. They only connect to mate, and then they disconnect and never want to see each other again. And when the kids grow up, mom kicks them out and says, get the hell out of here. I don't want to see you again. Okay? That's non-social mammals. And avoidantly attached people function, unfortunately, quite that way. We need to be a functioning social mammal. Otherwise, your brain chemistry will punish you the entire time. What happens with avoidant men when they don't fix this? Well, number one, they destroy their life, unfortunately, over time. They make a lot of money and spend the second half using all of that money to either repair their misery or to repair the medical issues. Because when you have low oxytocin, low vasopressin, low GABA, low serotonin, your immune system gets destroyed. You have a high risk of cancer, autoimmune issues, testosterone issues plummet, by the way, pretty fast at this point. All kinds of heart attacks, strokes, paralysis, all the things avoidant men fear most, being medically vulnerable and losing their life at 45, 50. This happens, destroys you, wrecks you. So number one, that. Number two, destroying your family and the legacy and everybody that you care about and driving them away so that at the end of the day, you are utterly alone and you hate it. Avoidantly attached men spend so much time making money, and then second half of the time, they spend all of that money down to being broke, just trying to repair all the damage that was done in the first half of life. So fixing this faster is like buying Bitcoin at 10 cents. I saw a great meme the other day. It said there was a contest. You could win $100 for first place, $50 for second place, or for third place, 25 Bitcoins. This was back when Bitcoin was a joke. Okay. 25 Bitcoins. What are they now? Almost $100,000. That's what this is like. Fixing your attachment now as an avoidant man, wherever you are, as long as you're not in the middle of cancer and a heart attack and your 5th marriage and your kids won't speak to you. If you're fixing it now before you get there, you're fixing it by getting 25 Bitcoins in third place. Okay. When they were 10 cents each. Fix your attachment now. Okay. How do you do this? The reason I have to push this hard is to overcome the part of your brain that says, Don't connect to other people. Don't open up. Don't share. Don't bond. Don't be intimate. Don't share my vulnerabilities. Don't share when I'm sad. Don't share when I need a moment. She'll laugh at me. She'll start charging me $200 an hour for those moments. My wife will charge me. She'll hold out her hand for a credit card the moment I say, "Can I share a moment with you?" Most avoidantly attached men, when I talk to them and I guide them through the process of asking their wife for anything, they go like this. They look down like this. They look like this. They have to go like this. They can't even look at her when they ask, "Well, I don't know, could we just, be close physically thing, not sex, but just, other physical closeness that isn't sex and involves your arms encapsulating me in totality." And she's like, "You mean a hug?" Some people have called it that. Sure. Right. Some cultures would refer to it that way. And this is the avoidant man asking for closeness in any physical way. Okay. They get such a bad rap because people say all they want is sex. Well, no, the only way they understand how to get closeness in a non-shaming way is through sex. That's all they understand. They don't understand how to have closeness otherwise or how to ask for it. When they were a kid, they probably asked for ups. They asked for hug. They asked for snuggles. They asked to sit on a lap and they got yelled at. They got pushed off. It was an awful experience. They learned over time, don't ask for ups. Don't ask for hugs. Don't ask for snuggles. Don't cry and ask mom to lay down in your bed and comfort you when you're sick. Don't ask mom to help feel close. Many of them are sent away from their mothers, right? Dad takes them away for a while. They go to a different country, whatever it might be. Okay. Understand that avoidant men have a deep, deep, deep shame complex around asking for their needs to get met, and they probably wouldn't describe it that way, but ultimately that is the experience of what they're having. You won't respect me. You will look down on me. I will lose my status. I'm now at risk. We're both at risk. The relationship will be destroyed because I asked for a hug. Right? That's the thinking. So the experiences you have are the only things that will transform you. Avoidant men, I can't give you a shot of vasopressin. I can't give you a shot of serotonin. We do have oxytocin nose spray, but all that's going to do is make you feel like you really want to go give someone a hug or ask for a hug, which is going to make you worse. So you're going to sit there in your room feeling good and then really, really, really desperately lonely and crave connection with another human being even more. So you're going to have the experience, even if you start trying to use the drugs. So you need to start fixing your relationships. You need to identify one human being that you want to be closer to. This person should have, I say impeccable character, but good moral character, enough that they are self-guiding in their moral code. When they make a mistake, they want to correct it. So it's not you convincing them to be good. They have long-term goals you can actually respect, and they're fairly stable as they go toward those goals. Long-term goals, hard code of ethics. And in their relationships, you've seen them treat people fairly. Now you go to this person and you have the most embarrassing conversation of your life. You say this, solution focused. I've identified a part of myself that I'm going to be working on. This part of myself, it makes it very hard for me to connect with other people. It's a whole brain pattern thing. It's a biochemical thing. I need to have some experiences with other people. Notice I'm intellectualizing this entire thing because this is how you're going to start. You can't go to them and say, I want to be closer to people. I want to learn how to do that. You're one of the best people I've ever met, and I'd like to figure out how to be closer to you. Is that something we can work on? No, you're going to throw up on yourself if you hear me asking you to do that. You're going to kick your own butt because you're going to say, I sound like a loser. They're going to say, no one will want to do this, and they'll all disrespect me. Everyone in the restaurant will get on social media and post about me, and I'll be shamed and driven out of society. And then everyone will turn on me and try to beat me up and steal from me. So I will be destroyed socially and everything. Everyone will be gone. I can't ask somebody for that, right? That's the brain cascade. Nope. Hey, I'm working on this part of myself. It's a biochemical thing, survival thing I've had built into me. I'm improving it, and I'm learning closeness with other human beings. I know that sounds like a joke word, but I mean, I'm actually learning just to personally relate to people instead of to intellectually relate to people. I'd like to explore this with the people in my life. You're one of those people. I think that you have impeccable, excellent character. And for me to do that, I'm going to have to be a little bit more personal in some of the conversations I have. This may be difficult for me. I invite you to be reciprocally with me. I've actually identified that you've been personal with me in a couple of ways, and I haven't actually been with you. So I'm having this conversation with you today, number one, to let you know this is something I'd like to work on, and number two, to ask if this is something you're willing to do with me. This is you having a business meeting and being highly intellectual and focused on business as you tell them that you want to be emotionally close to them and that you're going to experience emotional closeness. This is how you have the most embarrassing conversation of your life. You do this with a partner, with a close friend, with maybe a parent or a sibling, if appropriate, and you have this experience. Now, when you have that experience with them, you also say, okay, going forward, it's going to be difficult for me to remember to do this. I'm going to be doing everything I can to remember it. I'm going to come to you with those things. At the same time, if you see me get stiff or withdrawn, could you gently call me out? Just let me know. I don't need you to fix it, but gently call me out in case I'm not seeing that I'm doing it. And then I can think for a moment and step into it. Can you do that for me? In return, what service can I also provide to you? Is this something you'd like to work on as well? Now, odds are good. 65% of Gen Z adults, 25 and below, have this. 50% of millennials, 45 and under, have this issue. Odds are very good the other person has a similar issue. If they're not avoidant, they're anxious, okay? You might have two avoidant men together that have worked on business together, so they've begun trusting each other, and over drinks, you have this conversation. I recommend pina coladas, okay? They're great for this. They bring out the jovial side of avoidant men, I've noticed, better than wine does, certainly. Have that conversation and then offer the other person something as well. How can I also be of use to you in these moments? Is this something you'd like to work on? Is there something else I can help you be accountable for? You offer the trade, reciprocity. Vasopressin bonding begins circling here. As your stress goes up and they relieve it, what's going to happen? They're going to lean in. They're going to be more thoughtful. They're not going to go, ugh. They're going to lean in. Their pupils will get bigger as they look at you. They're going to be calm. They're going to say, oh, interesting. Well, tell me more. Yeah, I'd love to do this with you. I don't know what to do. Tell me what I'm going to need to do, but it sounds good. I'd like to be close to you. Yeah, I've noticed that you intellectualize everything. I've wondered if you didn't like me. I actually thought that you didn't want to share with me or that you didn't trust me. You're pretty guarded. You're pretty paranoid, dude. And I hear that. If this is something you want to fix, 100%, right? Maybe it's a long-term friend. I want to fix this for my wife, but for me to get there, I need to open up with someone I trust a little bit more first. And I trust you, right? You're a good man. You have a good family. You seem really good with your wife. Is this something you could mentor me in? The mentorship model, more vasopressin. Guys, if you want to do this with your girlfriend or your wife, right? If she showed you this video and you've watched this far, or this is something you're working on, you've seen the avoidant men here on this show, as they open up, they begin vasopressin bonding with her, and she doesn't disrespect them and say, you're gross. She says, I respect you more that you've shared these personal concerns with me. I respect you more that you've shared that you want a moment with me. I actually am delighted. I'm happier than I've ever been. Thank you for sharing this with me. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's usually avoidant guys, what you're going to start hearing from the people closest to you. Thank you for trusting me, because it's an honor to feel trusted and connected. They begin experiencing oxytocin and serotonin release and some dopamine. You get vasopressin release as your stress plummets and you feel connected. You flood with oxytocin, you flood with serotonin, and you flood with dopamine. Those four chemicals right there, plus GABA to suppress cortisol, that 5-chemical cocktail floods through your system. And this is what's called biofeedback. Your system says, that felt great. I need to do this again. This is everything I've ever wanted. I need to do this a lot more. Why didn't I do this 30 years ago? This feels good. Now, part of you is going to say it feels too good. What's the catch? Well, the catch is that, yes, now you're vulnerable and they could hurt you, but you've picked a person with good moral character who has long-term goals you respect, who has good relationships they've been fair in. So the risk of them hurting you, very low. And if they do, you go and let them know because it was an accident and they repair it. And the process of reparation, actually more vasopressin, more oxytocin. So even if you do experience a bump in the road, if you fix it together, you actually bond deeper. This is the healthy process of biofeedback. In my course, How to Build a Secure Marriage, I talk about if you are at a horrible, horrible, horrible place and you can't stand each other right now, you love each other, but you have massive cortisol association against the other person pushing you away, this is perfect ground for building an incredible relationship as long as you both agree you hate it and that you're going to do something about it as a team. As you overcome the issues as a team, massive vasopressin bonding release, huge oxytocin release follows that, serotonin rush, contentment, fulfillment, and then, yes, a blast of dopamine to reward you and say, do this again. Do this again next time. Remember this. Do not forget this. Dopamine releases to make your brain remember it and come back to it next time. That chemical cocktail fixes the marriage. In this case, for this episode here today, it fixes avoidant attachment style. Now you lean into it. You don't have one conversation. Over the next several months, you have several additional conversations. Here's a method I teach. You find something that you're having a challenge with. I'm experiencing a challenge, right? Someone asks, how you doing? How you doing lately? You go, well, do you really want to know? Or do you want the canned response that we're supposed to give each other? Avoidant men. That's the next point. They go very cynical. Do you want the canned response we're supposed to be giving people, or do you actually want the truth? And they go, well, no, I actually like the truth. Well, we'll see, won't we? Right? Avoidant men. And they kind of sit there like this. They can take a couple deep bracing breaths. Then as they prepare to be emotional and push through their prefrontal cortex, okay. And they're like, I can do this. I can share a feeling. First, I have to invent a feeling. What feeling am I having? They reach down into the goo and the black stuff at the bottom of their heart. And they say, okay, here's what I tell them to do. Pick a challenge. Something you're facing lately, a difficulty, a challenge, a problem. It doesn't have to be horrible. It could be a personal challenge, something you're trying to do at the gym, trying to hit a personal record. I'm frustrated in my relationship with this friend. I'm not sure what to do. My father's been giving me difficulties, my mom. I'm concerned about my relationship with my girlfriend. I'm just not really sure what to go there. This is a more personal conversation with a closer friend. I'm trying to grow this skill at work and it's not working. And trying to contact this person and it's just not working out. And it would be a huge growth opportunity for me. I just feel like I'm leaving something on the table. You list the challenge that you're currently working on. This is not hopeless case. This is, I'm working on this. Okay. Here's the challenge I'm working on. Here's how that challenge is making me feel. The purpose of this is to tell them what level priority this challenge is for you and how you're responding. Okay. This guy is this guy is trying to be my friend at work, and I don't usually do that. I am filled with incandescent rage. Like, that will be very specific, and they're going to go, wow, you're a sociopath. You hate connection. No, if you say this guy is trying to connect with me at work and be my friend, and I'm very confused by it, very different story, right? The emotional context helps them understand you as a person, gives them inner context, helps them feel trusted, also sets the priority level of the challenge you're experiencing. Hey, I'm having this difficulty with my wife lately. She's telling me she's not feeling close to me. And it makes me really sad because I want to give her everything, but I don't know what that means. So I'm feeling a little bit down lately. Like I'm not really fulfilling my job as a husband. You say this like 2 or 3 pina coladas in, by the way, to a married man whose opinion you respect. Challenge, feeling, solution. Here's what I think I'm going to do about that. And you move into the solution mode. This is where you don't lose respect. You actually grow respect in other people by sharing the solution. Now, if you're sharing it with a female partner, what's incredible is the female brain is designed to take solutions and pick them apart for first, second, third level consequences. And you can actually ask your female partner's input on this, or your sister's input, or your mom, or whoever, and say, you know, what do you think? Am I missing something there? You can do this with your male friends as well. What do you think? Here's the challenge. Here's my feeling about it. Here's what I think I'm going to do. What do you think? Do you think that's, have you ever experienced something like this before? Do you think that could work? Is there something you think I've missed? Okay. This is being personal. This is being connected with others. It's problem solving with them. It's vasopressin bonding. It's also a transformative experience. When you do this again and again and again and again and again at all your lunches, not every lunch, but your gatherings, your lunches, whatever it may be, this is how you reconnect. Let's go back to the very beginning of this episode when I talked about the avoidant man coming home to his wife. She gives him a big hug. He's stressed out and he's like grinding his teeth and he's just like, yeah, I'm just going to make you happy tonight. I don't know what I'm going to do. And she's like, get away from me, you crazy person. Why are you grinding your teeth? Why can't you love me? Imagine if he walked in that door and said, man, I'm having a rough day. I'm not going to lie to you. It's been a tough day. And she goes, oh. And actually, women are happy. They're like, he's sharing his feelings with me. He's having emotions and I get to hear them. This is gold mine. So you walk in, you don't say, oh, everything's terrible. I don't know what I'm going to do. My life is in shambles. No, I'm not going to lie to you. It's been a tough day. Okay, well, tell me about it. Challenge, feeling, solution, feedback. I'm having this tough time. There's this project I'm working on, and it's boom, 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 boom. Here's my frustration, sad, angry, feel betrayed, feel confused, whatever it might be. Here's what I think I'm going to do about it. What do you think? Do you think I've missed anything here? Most avoidant men say, I'm not going to do this for my wife. Like, she doesn't understand financial planning and my job. Well, no, but the relationships that are involved, the mechanisms that are involved, everything else that's involved, especially if it's a relational issue at work or a person issue, share it anyway. Even if she goes, I don't really know what you could do about that, but what can I do to keep you calm and steady and help you feel loved and supported in the meantime? What can I do? Well, hey, you know what? Just spend tonight with me. That would be great. Or can I get 30 minutes in my office at home here? Can I do something for 30 minutes that I think will help before we do anything else? Right? Otherwise, the avoidant man is sitting all night thinking, if only I could just get 30 minutes to just do this, I could be fine. No, hey, this would help me a lot. Could you give me 30 minutes to focus on this? And afterward, I'm all yours. I promise. I'm going to take my taurine. I'm going to take my glycine. I'm going to take my magnesium. I'm going to take my L-theanine. I'm going to crash out in the evening. I'm going to relax with you. I'm going to feel good. I'd love if you could share a moment with me and just, man, just give me that skin to skin contact. I need it right now. My body's going to cool down. Man, the oxytocin, it helps when you talk the chemicals, right, guys? Right? Engineering. It's simply science. I simply need the scientific part of you that enables my calm down method. Like, it's so much easier than asking for a hug. And then you ease into the evening. I had one client in particular. Okay. He was working himself just about to death because he worked from a home business and he could never, ever, ever turn off. But he also could not allow himself to relax in the moments he was supposed to be sitting with his wife. So she was getting more and more sad, lonely, and then resentful of him, even as he was spending more and more time with her, because mentally he wasn't. Now, the problem was that he was sitting there not telling her, hey, if you can just give me another half hour, I will get everything clicked in and be at a good stopping place. Okay? There's something called the Zeigarnik effect. In our brain, if we are trying to remember something or we have a task to do, we put a bookmark there. Now, the brain every 5 to 7 seconds tries to wipe the short-term memory, and you can't because you have to hold that bookmark. So if the avoidant man is holding an urgent level bookmark to manage a threat, he is sitting there. That's what makes him grind his big piece. He's grinding his teeth. And if he could just say, babe, I'm so sorry. Could I get 30 minutes just to do this? I cannot rest right now until I get this done. But if I can do 30 minutes, I'm going to be so much better for the rest of the evening and I can give you everything. Can you just give me that time? And she'd go, what? I mean, every reasonable woman on the planet would say, please go take your 30 minutes, then take your supplements, then come back and sit with me. Then let's relax because we're both going to feel so much better, right? Every reasonable, mature adult woman on the planet will do that. And if she's not doing that, guys, she has part of a problem too, okay? Just gonna put that out there. You need to have that space to breathe. But as you're doing your work and your due diligence, this is you checking in with your wife or girlfriend. Hey, can I get 30 minutes? Can I just get 30 minutes? Guys, so I have a lot of avoidantly attached male friends, mostly avoidantly attached male friends. I'm prepping for the apocalypse. That's another episode. The avoidantly attached men in my life very rarely ask me for things. But when I do, or when they do ask me, I actually go yell into the phone, finally, you're asking me for something. And they go quiet. They go, yeah. And I make a big deal out of it. And I say, I love it when you have something I can do to support you. I'm happy to do this for you. And then afterward, when I do it for them, they're like, hey, thanks. I really appreciate that. I go, man, thank you for asking me. And then I look at their wife or girlfriend and I say, and I bet she'd be happy if you did this more for her too. And she goes, uh-huh. And he goes, and they roll their eyes. The guys roll their eyes and go, yeah. But it does actually through time make it easier and easier for us to be reciprocal and care for each other. I had this happen recently. An avoidantly attached man my buddy called me and said, Adam, I'm really sorry to bother you. If you have capacity, I said, man, right now, I have every capacity in the world for you. Whatever you're about to tell me, as long as it's not both of my kidneys, the answer is yes. What can I do for you? And he said, well, I just need you to come over and he needed some help for a couple hours. I am there, right? I grabbed an Uber, booked it over there. There we were. I was pumped. I was like, dude, I finally get to give back to you the way you have given to me. That was the feeling I experienced. Then I did the act and it felt amazing. I did all the stuff he needed help on. And then afterward, I high-fived him and I said, thank you for letting me give back to you the way you have been giving to me for so long. I appreciate you. He was like, yeah, it's okay. Well, I thank you, man. I so appreciate you. I was like, yes, thank you. And I walked away from it feeling good myself. And I'm saying this to the avoidant men out there. This is what you are robbing your family and friends of feeling. Here's the harsh truth. Why do avoidant men get a bad rap? It's because they emotionally starve the people around them while disrespecting them and telling them that they're being needy, pathetic, emotional, or too much. Avoidant men starve the people in their lives and rob them of the joy of reciprocity and connection. And at the same time, the avoidant man himself is starving and dying. It is one of the greatest of life's tragedies that some of the most productive, devoted, caring, and ethical men and women as well, are starving and dying while they are also starving their loved ones. And they don't understand. Because all the brain chemistry and nervous system stuff we've talked about, they've never felt it. They're watching this episode, some of you right now, saying, I don't think this is true. I don't know if this is true. I'm going to look this up. Go look it up. Please go look it up. Because as you are starving and dying, your family is also starving and potentially also developing risks of cancer, heart attack, stroke, autoimmune issues, fertility issues, okay? Your kids are struggling and will struggle in their relationships. This is not about you. It's about everyone you will ever care about and love. It's about the legacy that you build here on this planet. The reason the avoidant men come into me and get help, and my friends, my avoidant friends come to me, it's not, hey, Adam, I just want to have better sex. Hey, Adam, I just want to feel close to somebody for a moment. Hey, Adam, I just want to, no. Adam, I've lost somebody that I realized was very dear to me. And I realized that I didn't love her the way she needed to. And I never want to be like that again. Adam, I've been lonely my entire life. And I want to be close to people, but in a way that is respectful and loving to them so that we're all close together. I don't want to experience these casual relationships that mean nothing anymore. Adam, my kids aren't speaking to me. And I've come to realize that there's something off about me. I'm doing something wrong. I need to fix this. What do I do? Avoidant men come in when they realize that there's something in them that's not broken, but there's something in them that's starving and that other people are starving too, and that there has to be an answer to fix it. That's where they come in. So fixing your avoidant attachment style is really as simple as having the experiences that give you the proper biochemicals you've always needed. But it's much deeper than that because your brain will stop you. Your brain will hold you back. You've kept people at arm's length and built relationships where you don't have to do that. You've built a business and money and finances that keeps you in an ivory tower where no one can reach you. There's 75,000 walls around you with no gates, and you're alone in your tower. Avoidantly attached people change when they want to, but then they need to have the key exact experiences. They need to lead the experiences. This is why I tell women you can't fix an avoidant partner. They want to, but they can't. You can't fix him. And of anxiously attached men, you can't fix avoidantly attached women. You invite them into a deeper, loving, intimate relationship where they can begin to experience it and have different brain chemistry. But they have to want to. They have to be not just voluntary participants, but enthusiastic participants, even if it's slow at first. They have to be full, active participants, not dragged through it. Okay? You'll see in my How to Build a Secure Marriage video course, you can start off slow, but both partners eventually have to be engaged in the process. Now, one partner can start before the other. For the anxious people out there, you're afraid, you're with an avoidant partner, you feel like you have to wait forever for them. No. Begin fixing your attachment. It will force the system to change. He will see the changes and not be sure what's going on. You will invite him into a deeper relationship, but then he has to step forward and take those steps and begin the process. Maybe you show him this episode. Maybe you all watch it together and you talk about implementing this together. That's fantastic. Maybe you pick up the course and you implement the course together. It will show you which conversations to have and which experiences you must have. But the avoidant person, man or woman, I keep saying man because it's mostly men, but women, you're there too. You're maybe 5%, but you're there. They have to be willing participants, active participants, having conversations, sharing, catching themselves and choosing to be personal instead of intellectual. Looking at the brain chemistry they're missing and then pursuing it. Taking the supplement stack to come down enough in the evening to share a moment and then immerse deeper because of the whole composition of oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, vasopressin, and immerse deeper into their parasympathetic nervous system. And then share that biochemical bonding with their partner. Over time, this transforms you into a securely attached person, remaps your brain pathways, changes your chemistry throughout your entire body, neurotransmitters, hormones, everything. And then you become secure, what I call remade secure. Remade secure. You have remade yourself into a secure person. The relationships you experience are what will transform you. I'm saying that because most avoidant men will read a book, they'll listen to a podcast, they'll go to retreats, seminars, they will do intellectual things, and they will do everything on the planet except have a personal experience with another human being. And that's why they don't change ever until they have those experiences. You must. So if you need help with that, me and my team, of course, we offer full coaching experiences. We have the attachment repair program. We have individual personal coaching, group coaching. We have everything that you need. If you're ready to begin that way, contact us. support@adamlanesmith.com is the best contact to come into me and my team. Let us know. We're here to help avoidant partners, anxious partners, anybody that wants to overcome this, to show you the experiences to have. Our job is to say, go here, talk to this person, have this experience. It will feel like this, recoup for 2 or 3 days, then go there, have this conversation, say these things that will make this transformation happen, then go to this person, have this experience. We map those out for you and show you the experiences and the phrases and everything to do to help you transform on a guided structure that way, like that. Let us know if you need that, okay? Or pick up the copy of How to Build a Secure Marriage and start going through it together with your partner right now. Everything in there, massive level vasopressin bonding. The conversations you have to have, the handouts that are in there, the exercises you need to do, the videos, everything that guides you in there, if you do it together, overwhelming bonding. Biochemical transformation, neurological transformation through repeated, constant experiences that get deeper and deeper and deeper. As you tighten that loop, you become more and more bonded and biochemically secure with that partner. The avoidance begins to diminish. This is to answer all those people who've always asked me, how do you fix avoidant attachment style and stop tiptoeing around? This is the process. Guys out there, I hope this has been helpful. Okay. This is the process of fixing avoidant attachment. I have done this with thousands of clients. I know for a fact that this absolutely works as long as the person is an active participant in their own process. It's not about going in and fixing an avoidant man like surgery. It's guiding an avoidant man and mentoring him through the process of becoming an integrated human being in a trusted network of people he can actually relax with and then become reciprocal and interdependent with appropriately. All of them, their biochemistry improves. Everyone around him improves. He's no longer starving them. He's nurturing and fulfilling them. And then he gets nurtured and fulfilled in return. Fascinating research came out that avoidantly attached people, when they connect actually to a group, it becomes a full, healthy, symbiotic relationship where both sides benefit. The avoidant man receives massive biochemical connection, and it actually fixes all of the issues with the biochemistry, the risk of cancer, heart attack, stroke, loneliness, chronic pain, low testosterone over time, everything. It fixes those chemical processes, and he sleeps better, and he fully immerses into the group. But he doesn't stop being focused, solution-minded, risk-aware. He doesn't stop those skills he's learned, and he brings those to the group, and they benefit from him watching over them and guarding them as a devoted, diligent friend, husband, father, brother, whoever it is. His diligence and devotion helps them thrive, and they in turn nurture him. So that's what this looks like. You become a leader among your family and friends. You nurture them, they nurture you. Deep level respect, deep integration. That's what voluntary interdependence looks like. I will care for you, and you will care for me, and we will thrive together. It's a multiplier effect. So that's the secret to fixing avoidantly attached people. Okay? There you go. Everybody out there, thank you for watching this episode. If you have questions, I'm certain you do, drop them below. I love reading the comments. I love them. Absolutely love it. This actually came from your guys' comments there. Make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening right now. Make sure you drop some subscription there. I love it when people subscribe because our numbers go up, but that also tells me that we're bringing you guys value. This is also a reciprocal relationship we're sharing. I bring you value. In turn, you help my channel grow and you support us so that more people can hear this. There are people right now listening to this that never would have heard of this if other people hadn't commented, liked, and subscribed way back in the day when we had 100 followers. Now we have so many. Unbelievable. And thank you. We are so incredibly grateful for that. But we can only grow as you support us. So please continue supporting, like, comment, subscribe. All of that is such an algorithm boost. You guys can't even believe. You are helping me fix other relationships by driving me up in the algorithm. So thank you, thank you, thank you for all the things you do out there. We are here to help. I'm Adam Lane Smith, the attachment specialist. You can find me on adamlanesmith.com with my course, my coaching, everything available for individuals and couples who are looking for help there. I just wrapped up my attachment immersion retreat. It was an incredible experience. Shout out to all the attendees who were there. Many of you watched this podcast. Thank you for being you, and thank you for sharing that time with us up in Vail, Colorado. The next one we're actually prepping for, we're putting together a wait list. That'll be on adamlanesmith.com as well, with the new course and the coaching and the attachment repair programs. I'm also on Instagram and YouTube as @Attachment Adam. Check me out there. If you loved this solo episode, I have hundreds more on my YouTube channel. Check us out, learn, grow, like, comment, and subscribe there too. I will be back with the next episode. Until then, go have some secure experiences.